Hello. Yeah. Queens.
Hello. Kings and queens.
Queens. Hello.
Hi,
everyone. Hi to viewers. Hi you and hi you. Thanks for coming back.
And you get a hello. And you get a hello.
And you get a hello. Please. Welcome back to episode number 6.
6. Can you believe it?
6. Welcome back. I love the shirt you're wearing today. I love it. I do love a polka dot queen.
And I do have track pants on, so
same.
Looks can be conceived.
It looks fine until here. And please don't look under the desk because that is just...
And then there's my nice
I do have some... Oh, they're fitting your shirt though. I have some nice ones too. I want to show off mine too.
Are they not fitting?
Those are mine. The cutest
I love
slippers.
Yours.
Right? They are white. My watermelon sugar high. Watermelon sugar high.
Oh, I can't sing. Don't do it.
Watermelon sugar high. It reminds me of all these TikTokers that are like in an elevator and then the elevator opens and they're like, watermelon sugar high. Baby, do you want to be mine?
And we would be like, hi.
No. Ding dong.
It's me.
Hello, it's me.
Hi. Watermelon sugar. Hi.
Well, you look nice. I love it.
Thanks.
It looks really nice on you. Really nice.
Don't always look like this.
Well,
thanks.
You do.
You look very pretty today yourself. Just saying.
Just showing off.
Just as always.
Just as always. Because I do always today. Look this great. Of course.
And if I don't, then no.
But look, only the upper part once again, because downstairs there's just so much happening. That's no one downstairs. No one needs to see
so
that.
Much nothing happening at all.
There's actually nothing. There's actually nothing happening downstairs. That's the problem. That's okay.
Anyway,
working that anyways. How was your week?
I had this topic about the UK star. She is from
what's her Molly-Mae Hague? What's her name?
Yeah,
Molly-Mae Hague.
Molly-Mae
and then Hague or something.
Star, influencer, celebrity.
Love Island celebrity. Girl. Yes.
Don't know
heard that.
Quite too much about her directly, or I guess because there's also Love Island Australia and Germany and UK, so you're not really across all of them. But she's sparked quite a bit of
controversy, huh?
Yes, she has. And I thought we might as well just talk about it because I thought it was quite fitting with this whole, how much time
I just caught up before the podcast because Tina was like, oh, that would be a nice topic to talk about. So I just read a little, and apparently she went on a podcast and then talking about success and how to build success, how to grow success. And then, which is not a bad thing. It's what a lot of people do nowadays. You see that every TikTok, Instagram, like you got to get up early, and if you really want something, you can achieve anything and whatever.
Gotta work
it's
hard
not no. Like she didn't start off with a wrong approach, but the way she talked about things. So there were a few things, as in like we all have the same 24 hours. Like she was even at one point comparing herself, like being like, oh, even Beyonce has 24 hours. So I watched that clip, and she's like,
I think
we all have the same time. Essentially
Beyonce.
Saying, but even though she did kind of say, but essentially saying we all have the same opportunity. You just got to work hard. You can and that's obviously wrong. And that's why she gets slammed for, because of course we are not all having the same 24 hours. No. Beyonce does not have the same 24 hours that I have, because she wakes up and she has a team of 100 people working for her. There's someone taking care of a child maybe, or like cooking for her or whatsoever. And that's not the same 24 hours that because I have to do everything myself.
And Beyonce probably is working very hard on what she does, but it's the same thing. It's like, or the same thing with, because I'm just, comparing myself to Beyonce, because why not?
Queen Bee.
It's like, building this business now. Luckily, I was able to save some money. So, I can step back a tiny bit from work now and focus on building the business without having to spend too much money or like losing too much money and all those things. Like, but yeah, I still worked hard for it to make that happen. But a single mom maybe couldn't do that because she would have to make sure.
Yeah,
or anyone else.
Even just being in different locations. Like if I just compare myself to you, for example, you with being able to buy properties, for example.
Yeah.
I cannot do the same as easy as you could do on your end. Because there's different laws, there's different rules about getting a loan, whatever. It would have been, or it's easier for you to get like, you know, a third or fourth property than it is for me. So we're still in the same position in life, same age, still similar background and everything, but still don't have the same opportunities because of our location. That's just one of many things that just she got slammed. She got slammed massively for saying what she was saying. I think it's like at the end it was like a 4-minute clip, and there's so much more to that podcast, but obviously people just focus on that.
And the thing now is to see from a different side. Like I know, and then you know, it's to talk about white privilege. I think she comes from quite a wealthy family or so. Yeah. Again, that's helpful. Depending also on how your parents raised you. Just coming from a wealthy family, you know, your parents still might make you work for your stuff, and you
definitely. But she had a different head start, you know.
Yes, she did have a different head start, and she's also just 22. Like, don't get me wrong, I worked hard when I was younger and had a couple of jobs while I was in a university, but how hard? Like, how as a 22-year-old girl can you compare yourself to other people saying, I worked my ass off? Like, you did. But like you come from high school, maybe you went to college or university.
But even if she did really work hard, but that's another approach you have to take on this situation too. She is only 22. We can't just bash someone for sharing. Of course, she made the mistake. She's like a person in the public eye. She shares her thoughts. If you just put yourself in the situation, have that exact talk with your friend at a coffee table, you wouldn't bash that person for saying those things, because essentially what she's saying is that we all have to work hard. We all have 24 hours to make the most of it.
Yes.
The way she put it in words was a bit wrong, but then again, she's 22. She should have maybe known better, because she has a management team behind her that should tell her, like, look, don't say the things. But then she got bashed really hard because she's a blonde, pretty girl. So there's people obviously bashing because there's this beauty standard that she's kind of portraying. At the same time, she's an influencer only, and people still don't take that as a serious job. So if a girl like this that does for the public eye does nothing, they just think she's pretty, she does nothing, and then she says those things, it's easy for society to bash that person. And she gets really bad comments, typically for social media, death threats, whatsoever.
Which is really bad.
Which is really bad, which she doesn't deserve. Because
there's people who've said way worse things and done worse things. And now there's this 20. But I want to just before, because I have quite a few things to say about that.
No, go for it.
Before we... now, if there will be a man saying the same thing, and here's the thing, I can show you plenty of Instagram reels or TikTok videos where men have said the same, because, you know, again, I'm following a lot of finance people, business people, and majority are men, male, nothing wrong about that. So many of them have said, like, you know, we all have the same 24 hours in a day.
Exactly. There's even a book.
I don't see them being bashed. So for them, like, if you hear it from a man, then it's like motivating, like, I have 24 hours in a day, and if he can do that, then I can do it. So, okay, maybe that person is 40, 50 years old and, you know, has a different background and actually come maybe from a poor background and work themselves up. And then, you know, you feel a bit more motivated because this person managed, this person was maybe
made
a single parent, you know. But again, just because that person came maybe from a different background or has a different age, but at the end was saying exactly the same thing. So then why are we bashing a 22-year-old?
Yeah, because we don't take a 22-year-old blonde girl that's an influencer serious.
Yes.
And that's another thing, because that's another point. She's saying we all have the same 24 hours, and then you just said it. We don't, because there's still a difference between women and men, and we still don't have the same opportunities. And then once again, like, there's people in I don't know, somewhere in Africa, like on working somewhere on mines whatsoever. They don't even have the opportunity to think what is out there. Their only instinct is survival. Their 24 hours is surviving, maybe working to feed their families. And they're not thinking about like, oh, I could use those 24 hours to be like somewhat like Beyonce. That's not even on their plate. It's completely different. And then it's even scientifically proven, or even like in general been proven, that if you've been born, scientifically is stupid, but anyways, it's been proven that if you're born into a poor family, it's automatically harder for you
100%.
to get out of that cycle. Yes, there will be that occasional one in a million that made it and is like, I made it. But in general, if you're born into poor, you most likely will end up poor. There's always a different, but like
it's so many things. It's also like the way then you grow up around how is money being managed in your family. So you're gonna have the same mindset unless you educate for whatever reasons, not that you educate yourself, but sometimes you need to maybe meet someone, read something that you're like, oh my God, there's a different way of thinking about money. But like we had the same thing, investing is gambling. And now we're like, oh my God, no, it's not, because we educated ourselves. But of course we come also from a background where it's like bad experiences with money. So then, or like even saving money, like it was still best to have like cash at home rather than actually having money in the bank and all those, like, all those little things. Or then if you come from a not as wealthy background, then you have to work for yourself a lot to be able to buy yourself things, or you help your family to survive once you're at this age that you can earn money. So of course, coming from a wealthy, but is it her fault? No, it's not.
No, it's definitely not her fault, but she's in that case portraying a thought that people claim as being white privilege, or in general beauty privilege and whatever privilege. But she's just portraying the issue, and unfortunately she's the one getting slammed, and there's a right for her to be being criticized, but not obviously slammed. But there's so much to it. And there's another point I wanted to address as well. Like, you can still start from the same point that she started, being born into a very rich family, being pretty, have everything that she got, and there's still a distinctive difference. What if you're dealing with depression? What if you have any other issues that just prevent you to be ever able to succeed? And like, it doesn't mean that if you're depressed you're not succeeding, but it's just maybe harder for you. You might have anxiety, you might not be able to start the business that you want to start. You could have the exact same start, the exact same influence, and it would still not be the exact equal 24 hours that
and
she
I always
just
think. And also, sorry, you could come from a family that is not white, and there you go. You kind of,
I mean, that's exactly.
But you still, that one person, and we know which one, is just so much further ahead in society as well.
That's why she gets bashed, because it's a white girl sitting there, white blonde girl, rich, and that's why she gets slammed. But then again, think back when you were 22. She's a sheltered girl that has not experienced anything. By 22, I don't want to assume I would have said the same, but maybe I would have thought the same. And yes, I'm white and I'm living a white privilege too. I don't know. I have not experienced what people have experienced.
I did not have the mindset that she had. I mean, I was.
No, I don't. I assume so too. But still, 22. She has not maybe made. I don't know. But like, it's very thin ice. If you're in the public eye, you have to be careful about anything you're saying. And
because that whole podcast or the whole video interview, whatever she did, it can be 2 hours long, and maybe if you listen to the whole 2 hours, it could make sense. But you have to just be aware that with TikTok and Instagram, you cut out a 30-second video, and there you go.
Yeah, it has been everywhere in media, everywhere. I feel like.
But then the other thing now is, oh my God, it's so easy for people to just send hate comments to a person. And I know, I mean, if she's smart enough, she doesn't read it, but I think they talk about her on TV, probably in newspapers, on
especially
Instagram.
I think she from the UK. UK media is like really tough. Really tough. They're going to take her apart.
Yeah, UK media is just, they're on it. So now she's getting really, really bad comments. And then, like, don't forget, maybe she said something wrong. She's 22 years old.
Yes, exactly. Still be mindful about everything you say. She might maybe she made some stupid accusations and said some things she shouldn't have said. Exactly. But she gets bashed. And we all said things we would probably... Like, I sometimes have conversations with my family, and then one of them says things that I'm like, shouldn't say that in public, maybe you should rethink. And then you talk about, you explain your point of view, and then maybe they're like, oh, yeah, true, you're right. And it's, she shouldn't be getting bashed for everything, but that's just what's going to happen because,
I think there was... Just thought about there's a German soccer player, and what's his name, Jerome Boateng, and he had his ex-girlfriend, and I'm very sorry I don't know the whole story, I don't remember, but it was about, did she say that he was cheating or abusing her?
I have no idea.
Anyway, and then the media just like piranhas on her, and she ended up taking her life. She was mid-20s. That
happens all the time. You read about that all the time. And especially in the UK, there was this one very famous TV presenter. She was famous for being an X Factor. I think her name was Caroline Flack. And she was just taken apart by the media. And she did take her own life too because of that. So we got to be still very careful, but people still think it's online. You know, I'm distant. I'm not seeing the person. There's a very funny test they've done in Germany. And I can really relate to it because my grandma is one of those people that bashes people online. Like she's the generation that's discovering Facebook at the moment. So she's on Facebook, she loves it, and she's commenting on everything. And if I tell you everything,
a keyboard warrior?
Yes, she is. She's fighting about the most like COVID related. She goes nuts.
Yes,
everything goes nuts, and she has to say the worst things. And there was this one TV presenter, and she noticed she gets a lot of hate comments. So what that TV production company has done is they found out where that person lived. I don't know if it was through acquaintances. I have no idea. It was obviously arranged. Knocked on her door. So the TV presenter knocked on the door, and then there was this one older elderly lady, and she's like, "Oh, okay, you're here." And she's like, "Yeah, it's me. I just wanted to address you called me annoying, and that I'm a voice that needs to be shut down, and you don't want to listen to me anymore. Why did you say that? It's very hurtful." And then the old lady was like, "Well, I didn't mean those things." And she's like, "Well, you still said them though. Why did you said them?" And she's like, "Oh, I didn't think you would read them." And she's like, "Well, I did, and it did hurt." And then I had a huge conversation. At the end, the lady was like, "Oh, you're actually not that bad. I really like you. I mean, I didn't mean those things." And she's like, "Yeah, you have to really rethink because just because in that moment you feel that way, you don't have to say it. And especially thinking that person's not going to read it." So my research that I have done, my quick research before this podcast, I saw some videos defending her, and the comments were turned off because obviously people were probably like, "How can you even defend this girl?" Yes, because we're human at the end of the day. The things she said were not okay, definitely, but we don't have to slam her, a 22-year-old, for having a wrong opinion. We should educate her and be like, okay, and where's the management team? I would bash them because the management team knew what she was getting herself into. Who was standing behind her was like, "Oh, this is a good podcast. We should release that." They should have known that this would eventually maybe end her career, because nowadays you do one little thing wrong and then you go viral, and that can be it. I don't get it, but it's not her fault.
Would not happen to a guy. Sorry, I don't want to bash the man now, but sorry, again, it would not happen to a 20-year-old bloke.
Maybe not to the same degree. The same degree. There's some videos of Trump. I just saw them before too. Him being like, "Oh, I had a very tough upbringing. I had to really work my ass off to get where I am. And when I was a young bloke, I had to ask for a loan. It was as little as $1 million, and I made it work." And I'm like, as little as $1 million is just still more than anyone else can get. So that's not a little loan.
Especially back in the days. When he was
that's
young,
why. That's just the thing, you know, like, I mean, besides that, Trump, different story. But
business-wise.
No, I'm not bashing him, like what he has achieved. I'm just saying, like, this is a white, privileged male once again. And then he's like, "Oh, I had a very tough start." Talk about this mother of 5 that has to start fresh again. Maybe talk about them, like, and then different ethnicities, like all these, you know. Can't compare it. But we know that. But
there's this mom, and I think you sent it to me. She's from Berlin. And I think she is a single mom of 3 children. And I mean, I guess that's a good thing about being online, TikTok, Instagram. And she makes like food for poor families kind of thing. Like, you know, I don't know, that dinner one. For €2.
Yeah.
Which is like, what, $4.50 in Australia.
Yeah.
Or stuff. And she has a lot of followers. And I hope that she's already, you know, generating some income from her videos. And I love seeing that. I love that it's possible for those people as well. And those people, sorry, like my mom was a single mom as well. But back then it wasn't possible for her to just,
post a TikTok,
snap a picture of our dinner and be like, you know. But like, I love the possibilities we have.
That's why I get what that Molly-Mae was saying. We have different opportunities. We have possibilities to make it big. Yes, we do. But everyone to a certain degree. Yeah. And then it's 100%. Still, and we still, both of us like acknowledge, we are 2 white women. We still only 100%. Get it to a small percentage. There's still like, you know, we still only get it to a small percentage. And we are white and privileged as well. But we acknowledge that and we try to, you know, like be reasonable and try to, but like I said,
because and I'm really scared of digging into the topic too deep because I'm obviously don't want to step on anyone's foot, but
that's another thing nowadays though that pisses me off. We all don't speak our minds anymore because we're scared of,
and we have like, to tipping. Because how else are we going to learn?
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
But do you think that white privilege is a way worse problem in America than it is in Europe/Germany?
I think so, 100%. It's definitely a problem. It's a problem in Europe, but it's the problem in America.
Because I feel
100% think like that.
Yeah.
And even Australia, and I had a very fun I had a very good conversation about that the other day, and it brings it to a point. So yes, we had a huge wave of refugees in Germany. There's a lot of immigrants we have here too. We are pretty open. Like, you know, Germany tries
them for years.
Yes, we really try our best to take everyone in. And you see them, they get opportunities here. You go to a bank, you might see someone from Turkey, you might see someone from Syria, you might see someone from Africa. There's no, like, I'm not surprised, not at all. Like, we give them all the same opportunities. Everyone has the exact same opportunities. Yeah. Going to Australia, and that's a thought I had the other day. Go to a bank, do you see an Aboriginal person? No. You won't see those. Yeah, those, for them, Australia, I call them a minority, but they're indigenous people. They're they're Australians. They're the real Australians. And you won't see them as teachers. You won't see them working in a bank. No. You won't see them at a healthcare. Whereas if I go, I go to, actually, in a month's time, I have a dentist appointment and I have it with a Syrian doctor.
Yeah.
And that's just normal. What it is. And that person, that person might have come to Germany 2 years ago, and he's a doctor now because we give them the opportunities.
Yeah.
They have the chances to make the most out of their lives. But then you are in countries like Australia, and it's pretty sure the same in the States. It's still the same in the States.
And I'm just wondering now, being a white immigrant in Australia, which, you know, we've also learned
we had a fair share of discrimination on our end too.
Yes,
and
which is interesting to experience because, you know, normally white people don't experience that. So that's been a really learning thing for us as well.
Yes.
And we had some situations that were, wow.
It's only a little percentage of what others have to experience.
And I think what annoyed, the worst thing in those situations was like, oh my God, I feel so hurt, or someone attacked me. And then I'm like, it was one situation, or maybe 2 or 5 in your life, and then that's nothing.
Yes, and now I think you walk home in the night and people will cross streets because they're scared of, they're afraid of you. They're scared, and I think you do, or you look in a certain degree, and you look a certain part, and you sit in a plane, and people don't want to sit next to you because they're scared you might blow off the plane.
Yes,
just because you have a beard.
True. Yes,
it is like that, and like we're aware of it, but like. And things are not great in Germany as well. It's like in every country, there's still issues, and there's always still issues. I'm not saying 100%. Germany is doing it great, and I can only compare with what I've experienced. And I know for a fact that an Aboriginal person, an Indigenous person, is not going to be able to work as a teacher or bank assistant, whatever. Maybe they have opportunities, but they're not given the same. Like you don't see them. I've not seen any. Have you seen any? Maybe we're wrong. Maybe we've been to the wrong parts. But like even when we traveled, you've seen that most of the Indigenous people were living in the same area, like kind of as if they've been like, you know, like a sheep, like a herd of sheep.
Not I guess, but like I know that a lot of Aboriginal people that come from the stolen generation, there was 30 years ago. And again, look, I'm not Australian, still learning the history. And it's a really painful history.
Really bad history as well.
You know, that children were taken away from their parents.
And that's only 30 years ago. 30 years the government came and took away children to integrate them into society. It's our generation. Our generation. Yeah.
Into white drinking society.
Yes.
And I always wonder, because it's funny, because my dad, way before I came to Australia, he was always very fascinated with the Aboriginal way of living, you know, because like the way they see or run, like, you know, the land, the earth, everything.
Yeah,
like
how they appreciate life.
Nature.
Yes.
And I just wonder if, you know, British people would have never come up with, because Aboriginal people were trading with Chinese people and everything before, you know, English people came. How Australia would be now and what we could actually take from Australia, because like if Aboriginal people would like take control of taking care of the land, bushfires, everything, like, you know, they know how to handle situations like this.
Yeah.
And also medicine wise, I think it would be gold. But anyway,
you can turn the question into the same, like, as in what would the States, America be if no one ever, you know, like.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's once again, but that's a certain pain we feel because we're empathetic and we can kind of feel resonate a little.
We at least grew up very multicultural.
Yes, we
having
did.
Friends, and, you know, different everything. Yeah.
But still, then we still have not even closely experienced what it would be like. But then I'm just saying, that's the thing going back to, we all have the same opportunities. We obviously don't, because you just have to look a certain way and you don't. And that is the sad truth. Don't lie. Don't tell me I can do the exact same as Beyonce, because I cannot and I won't. And even if there's nothing wrong with it, like, you know, like everyone, and it's not even on my plate. It's not even on my plate to be Beyonce. And that's what I said before. Yeah. Being in emerging countries, or like really third world countries, they don't have even on their plate that they want to be Beyonce. They want to survive. No. They want to feed their family. They want to feed their parents. For them, they 24 hours is different.
At the end of the week, they have enough food.
Exactly. Like, you know what? 24 hours for them, they probably don't even have the luxury to sleep 10 hours a day. They work their asses off. We have a luxury that we only work 40 hours a week. Kind of, like, you know, like, no, you do a bit more for your business, but you do that because you want to, not because you have to. So we have a complete different.
That is because I want to, because I have the opportunity, the option to decide what I want to do. Privilege right here.
They don't have the privilege. They have to work. They have to send their little children to work at the age of 6, 7 to work on coal mines or like on dump pits, getting sick from all the gases, so they get a few dollars so they can maybe eat in a week. It's a complete different story. And then there's this girl obviously sitting there in the UK being privileged from the beginning. I read that she was born into a rich family. She got like very famous at the age of 16. Then she won like a lot of pageants. Yeah. So she made her like, but because she's pretty. She grew up with. Because she's pretty as well. It's a pretty privilege as well. If she would not be as pretty, she would have not won the pageants. She would not be taking part in Love Island.
How much of that is her fault?
No, definitely, it's none of her fault.
I mean, now she's old enough to educate again. Now she's old enough to educate herself. But there's a lot of her parents. But then again, her parents might have grown up in the same environment as she grew up in, and all that. Like, you know, that's. Oh, the world is a effed up place.
The world is an effed up place, and even you're not allowed to make any mistakes anymore, and that is
No.
let that be the most that be the biggest lesson, because like even if all the things she said really upset us, and like we can talk lots about it,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's a 22-year, and even it's a 44 years old lady, or if it's like a, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we should educate her instead of bashing that girl. I don't want to know what kind of messages she's receiving now. It must be really bad.
I do hope she doesn't read them, because I think she's learned her. And I don't even think she did a mistake at the end of the day.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying too, because I think she even says it herself, or I read it in the comments. She's like, oh, I read this book about that the one guy wrote about the 24-hour day.
A male
how you have to wake up.
wrote.
Yeah, like, and she said exactly the same things others have said before. It's no news. She has not published a book where we're all like, what the hell is she talking about?
Yeah.
She has not created any news. She was just the wrong person to say those things
out loud. I have this other topic that it's been, and I thought the world is going to be a bit more, the media is going to be a bit more about it, like on it. But look, obviously I know what the media is on in Australia, and I read German news, so I can always kind of compare what's happening. But yeah, there's this also Australian Open tennis happening. At the end of January, mid of January, big thing, great thing. Obviously, all the greatest tennis players coming over. And there's been a huge discussion because Novak Djokovic, sorry if I didn't pronounce it right. Oh, well.
That's okay, you're excused.
People don't pronounce my name right, so,
Yeah,
I'm allowed
that's
to.
Okay. That's okay.
And he, long backstory, at the end with COVID, and they need an exemption, I think, to come to Australia.
Because he's not vaccinated. That's the main post, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not. And he didn't want to, I think, he didn't want to actually make it public that he's not vaccinated because he had COVID, but it's longer than 6 months. So he doesn't, he's not like a heel COVID anyway. And eventually he was able to apply for a visa, or his team applied for a visa with the government, and they said, yes, it's fine. He got on the plane, he landed in Australia, and then they said, border control was like, wrong visa, can't come in. Which you and me, we both know, which is that's one story. You can't even get on a plane.
Well, it depends Australia. Where you're coming from, because in Germany they did not check my visas. They only checked them at the border.
They always check you. They always know. They always check the visa is with your passport. So obviously, when they scan the passport, they see, yep, okay, cool, she can come in. So anyway, who knows? Then now he was. So that means in Australia, if you don't have a valid visa, you should actually go back. But he obviously said, no, I'm going to go. I'm going to take it to court.
Oh, you see, I thought that he was going back already. I thought he was set into a plane and left.
Because he obviously wants to play. And there's, I think, up to 20 or 30 other unvaccinated tennis players who all got a medical exemption and they're allowed in. But there's this whole, or his team now applied for the wrong visa, which, that's one story. But now Australia put him into a, what is it? Is it
detention? Like a detention center? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I heard that. Oh, God. It's a criminal.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, he's a rich tennis player, but he now is being handled just like a immigrant, which, equal. Why not? So now he's in this, I don't even know if you can call it a hotel, with immigrants. And I love actually that this has happened, because knowing that Djokovic is actually I feel like he's a good person and he is trying to change things in the world as well. And he's very humble from the media presence I know of him anyway. So now he's kind of locked up in this camp with immigrants. And there's this one story emerging now of a 24-year-old immigrant who has been living, I think he's from Iran. He has been living in that detention camp for 9 years.
In the same one that tennis player is in right now.
He grew up in this detention. And
why is he in detention?
Because he's a refugee. It's a refugee camp. He's a refugee, and I don't know, but I do know that Australia is quite strict with refugees, and
with everything.
Yeah, true. But that obviously means he lives there, and from what I was reading is that means he can't leave this camp.
So he's stuck in that building since 9 years. He was 15
when he got there, probably with his family, and he's been there for 9 years. 9 years
really
living in this camp. And there's worse stories there, but like, come on, 9 years. And it wouldn't be such a big story if this guy would be able to just leave.
Yeah.
And go and do his thing or work. As far as I understand it, he's not allowed to do anything, because we know when you're a refugee, you don't have working rights, you don't have anything. So for 9 years, how is that even possible? So now I hope Djokovic is gonna just make all this a big story and is gonna do something and help this guy and all the people, all the refugees living there.
Yeah, make the most out of this situation that he is in.
Yes, because he's been very quiet.
Yeah.
And I don't look, if he's gonna play in Australia or not, I don't really care. I don't really care what happens with that. I just hope that there's gonna be, because now, of course, now the media is interested in that whole refugee situation.
Yeah, of course, because there's someone famous sitting in there, and like,
so I feel
like the government is making him like a face case, anyways. Like, you know, because you said like all these, there was like so many other tennis players that have not been vaccinated, and he's the only one that they make. Yeah, because they make him a face case now to kind of tell everyone else you're not allowed to come in if you're
even though
vaccinated.
At the beginning, because Australia got slashed for this whole he's rich, he's unvaccinated. Because I think when you're unvaccinated, you have to be in hotel quarantine, well, depending on the state, for 2 weeks in a hotel and pay for it. And he was allowed to just, go on with his life, whatever it is. But I feel like they might have done a mistake for them by putting him in that refugee camp, because now attention is on that. So there's a second story now emerging, which I'm happy about, if you can say that, because I really hope that that's gonna create some change.
It's so sad. I don't get it.
Been in Australia longer than you and me.
Yes, we have refugees in Germany too, and they get put into refugee camps as well. They have their own container villages, or actually they get put into apartments. Yeah. But I doubt that they're living there for longer than a year or two. Then I try to get they're building apartments now, so people can live in apartments. They get kind of migrating to schools, work, whatever. But for 9 years detained in a refugee center, building, whatever you want to call that.
Yeah.
What is that? So he spent all his life. That's sad.
Yeah, he grew up.
Makes me so 15, angry again.
He's 24 now. Wow.
What is this country doing? Sorry, but like Australia surprised me every day.
Yeah, I know, right? It's been quite a ride. Seeing it from this side, because we see it from a different view.
So maybe
we're migrants.
Yeah, we've been I've been into when I was having visa issues in Australia, I had to go to like a migration center once because the visa was refused, and I had to explain myself. Like, I swear to God, be in the center once and you hit rock bottom quick, because they make you feel like shit. And then once again, I'm a white privileged person. I don't even look a certain degree where they can put me into a country and treat me that way. They don't even know where I'm from. But still, yet I was an immigrant for them. And they said very offensive things to me. Yeah. So there was only a little experience.
Just a tiny bit.
It was just a tiny taste of what someone is feeling like that has maybe I don't know, a darker skin tone, is maybe maybe looking a certain has an Arabic way of looking, has that full beard that people are so terrified of. Then that's even worse. A lot of
Asian people migrating to Australia
Asians
as well.
Be to the have that experience once. I can only tell anyone to have that experience, and you see the word a bit different.
If you don't think that there's a problem, that people don't get, that
there is still a problem.
There's no discrimination. I just hope you're going to get discriminated once, so you get that tiny little taste.
There is still a massive problem. So you can only hope that that tennis player is just getting so much attention that all blows off, everything is just...
And, who knows the way Australia treats him. But then, that's also hard to say, because now which treatment should he get? Because you did something wrong with your visa application, which is why you had to go to the tribunal and had this whole experience.
He would have to have the same treatment.
His team Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Just because
same
he's a rich
treatment.
person.
I don't care if he's rich. I had to go through shit to defend myself. He better go through shit as well. And I don't care if he wants to play.
Money to the
That's the issue. He brings the money. He's the biggest, one of the biggest tennis players in the world. He gives so much he gets so much public attention that of course Australia's like, we should let him in, but that's not fair. And what kind of signal are they sending out to the world if they allowed someone to get in?
Yes, but also
like,
what
there's
kind
people,
of signal are they sending out if they just put someone? I don't know.
Yeah, but that's a whole different story. But like, they have to, when it comes to him right now being even unvaccinated get let into the country as an exception because he needs to play tennis, it's not okay. We have soccer players in Germany that are not allowed to go to tournaments now because they're not vaccinated. That's a whole different story, being vaccinated or not vaccinated, but you gotta have a rule for everyone. And there's actually, at one point I was thinking that too. It's like, oh, they're not going to care. It's like a very famous soccer player. Yeah. He's not gonna, and we talk about teams like Bayern München, like, really big teams. And these people are not allowed to play anymore. Yeah. That's it. It's tough. It's maybe unfair in some degree. I don't want to even dive into that, but I'm just saying, just because it's a big player.
If you have the proper medical exemption, you are allowed to come into the country, which those other 20 players have. So again, there's quite a big.
He just had the wrong paperwork, and maybe there's something needs the wrong paperwork whatsoever. Yes. I'm sure this can be solved. Maybe it was one of
I wonder in which way. And I kind of, sometimes you're like, oh, I hope he's going to get the visa. I hope he's going to play. But I don't know with him. Like, I don't know what I personally want, because I'm really now drawn into this refugee problem that Australia has. And I don't know why. I just think now
9 years. I cannot believe it. 9 years.
So if he's a good celebrity, he's going to use the publicity he gets for a change, and it has nothing to do with if he gets the visa, but like to shine a light on, and it's not to put Australia down, but it's just like, guys, something needs to change.
Yeah,
true,
definitely.
Because that's how it happens. Media puts attention on a thing, and that's how things change. So
that's how things go viral quickly.
Yes,
and go viral quickly. People get bashed for no reason. People get attention where it lacks attention. So we saw 2 cases today where media, has the power. Yeah. And in this case, it could really help if that goes viral and people get like the attention, and let this guy have a life after he has been detained for 9 years. Like, what are they waiting for? Like, what? It's a refugee, and know
what are his options?
Yeah, exactly. And I know a thing or two about the visas, and they get a quite good visa as a refugee. Yeah. If you're a political refugee, there's like a lot of options you have. But like, once again, it's only a small percentage of knowledge that I do have in that degree. But like, I don't get it why he has to be detained for 9 years, has been detained as a child, and is still like stuck in there. What are they doing? So you can only hope in this case it goes viral.
That the media does the right thing. Now it comes down to the media in both cases. My God.
Yes, it comes down to, in both cases, it comes down to the media. So we have to, where it really matters, should use the opportunity that things can go viral, that people can know about things, because once again, I didn't know about those things. I only find out because you tell me, or I see it on Instagram. Yeah. But at the same time, we should use that power and prevent bashing a single person for their opinion. We should rather talk about that opinion than talking about the person saying those things, because she needs to be educated and not. Yeah, it's the power of media. Once again, we can only hope
the media.
That So interesting episode.
So Djokovic, you have a big
one job
to do.
Yes.
Please.
So
thank you.
If you watch this episode, please.
I mean, why wouldn't you, Djokovic?
Do your job. Yeah, well, thank you, Tina. That was really insightful. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it was no therapy session for us today, but believe me, there's going to be another one for sure.
So please come back next week, like and subscribe. And see you next week.
Ding. See you next week.
Bye-bye.